This is Riff Radio, a presentation of Riff Magazine Online, your source for music news, interviews, and concert reviews from the Bay Area and beyond. Find more at riffmagazine.com. I'm Mike DeWald. On this episode, we're joined by one of the most exciting up-and-coming bands on the circuit, Pinkshift. Forming in the unlikeliest of places at Johns Hopkins University, the band, Ashrita, Myron, and Paul, has since signed to Hopeless Records and has toured with the likes of Pussy Riot. From DIY punk shows to touring across the world, Pinkshift is poised for the next level. The band is currently writing and recording new music for their next record. So given the band's unlikely origin story, what was the catalyst that brought everyone together?
As this guy.
So throughout college, I grew up playing bands in high school and stuff, and in college I couldn't really find a group of people that were into the same type of music, because you said our school's kind of known for just not really having there's no music scene there really, low-key. Well, there is, but it's classically trained
Or jazz,
people that are way above punk.
Yeah.
For most of my time at college, I've always tried to find people that are would be down to jam. Couldn't find anyone, and it was our senior year where I was just I think I just saw Ashrita just singing at one of the school's events. They were singing this.
I would fill in. I would fill in for my friends had a cappella groups and stuff, so if they just needed somebody, I'm I'm not gonna do a cappella, but I'll just do it for fun or volunteering.
They were singing a Disney song.
Yeah.
And then later.
The world and mashed up with the Aladdin song. I don't remember. That's
the red carpet, the
yeah. I can show you the world.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah.
I heard that and I was I need this. I need this person. But yeah, we kind of met. I just walked up to them cold. Was just want to do music stuff, just doing covers and stuff.
I was fucking depressed. I was I'll do anything. I don't care.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how we met. We just started writing some songs. This is before Pinkshift even was a thing. We had we were called Sugar Crisis at the time, and we had some songs written, and we were looking for a drummer because it was just us two. And yeah, Myron was playing Helena by My Chem in our school's practice room. We just just cold knocked on the door, interrupting him. Be join us.
And then you joined the band.
I did join the band. It was funny because I was learning drums, and I don't know.
Yeah, you were struggling to play Mars.
I was struggling hard to play Mars because I was still learning how to play the damn instrument. But I remember it because it was my junior year, and after meeting them, I was oh snap, that's really cool. And they were we should jam sometime. I'm oh snap, I've never played music with anyone else ever in my life. And it was a month goes by, and then I remember our first rehearsal or practice or whatever. I had an event that I had to go to earlier in that day, and I was shit, I did not practice this song. So I was listening to the song in my earphones, just trying to air drum it while I'm listening to this presentation. And then after that we went in and I don't know, it's embarrassing. I remember Paul was yo, can you count us in? And I'm just
I can.
And then I didn't know what that meant. I had an idea, and I was trying to do stick clicks, and he was oh, on the hat, and I'm oh, okay.
We put up flyers around our school, just being with our phone numbers on them, being if you play drums and you breathe and are alive and want to play with us, text us. And Myron actively avoided it. We had some other people hit us up, and we've jammed with a couple other people for Myron, just once, but they were either just not the vibe.
I think we had been jamming with other drummers, but I feel even though Myron may have not been on it immediately, we were just oh well, he's as into this as we are. So that was the most important thing. When we were forming the band, we're okay, all of us are equally as into this, which is I think why we just ended up doing this instead.
So you formed, I think 2019 was when you formed?
Yeah, I mean, we all...
2019 is when we changed our name to like Pinkshift, but we were like jamming since 2018 as like just in school.
To sort of launch at that time and then like immediately have the pandemic follow.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
Did it feel like hitting a screech of the brakes, or was it an opportunity to focus on the band?
It was more of an opportunity to focus on the band because like all of us were in school and stuff, and like I think like literally like right when it hit, we had just booked our first like DIY tour. Like for months, like I had been emailing people and like venues, and like nobody was gonna show up, but it was gonna be fine. And I don't know. And then it just got canceled. It was like supposed to start the day that the pandemic was declared, which is like really fun, like March 14th or whatever of 2020. But then like I think like when that happened, it was just like fuck. Like we had just had our first like show in Baltimore where people were like, oh, like do you want to play this other show with us too? Like because we had been playing shows in Baltimore, but like I don't know, like no music people ever showed up. I don't know, nobody ever showed up.
Like six of our friends would show up and just like stand there and would be like, hey, yeah, I don't know,
yeah, like people were just starting to like actually want to like put on shows and like have us play. So I don't know, when the pandemic hit, we were just kind of like, I don't know, school ended low-key, like we all graduated during that time. We got jobs, and then like as
real jobs that are no fun, that nobody wants to do.
I was like, should I say this? I was gonna say like I'm still at mine, but I don't think anyone from my work like actually keeps up.
You gotta like backfill.
I love everyone that works there.
He's like slowly just like doing less and less, and like just wondering if they're gonna fire him. I did the same thing, and they did fire me. They fired me last year. They're like, you can't work here full time if you're not here full time, and I'm like, that totally makes sense. Like I totally get that, and I'm not even gonna fight you on that because like you're right.
You're on the cutting edge of quiet quitting.
Yeah, I remember like I got fired like while we were on tour, and we were in like Canada, so I didn't even have signal. Yeah. And then like we played a show that night. I think we were like opening for Pup, and so it was like a big show. So I like told everybody, I was like, hey everybody, like I got fired today, and they're like, yay! I'm like, yeah, you guys should quit your jobs too, and they're like, yeah. I never want to look at Outlook again.
No.
But you go from the real like DIY mentality to now signed with Hopeless Records, out on the road playing festivals. Like, was that, I don't know if hard is the right word, but it's a change in mindset, I'm sure. Whether you're like, oh, there's people to do this? Like, what was that shift like for you?
I feel like every step of the way, we're like, I don't know. I think we're all like really hardworking people. I think that comes from just like being at that fucking school. It just like drills in that if you don't work as hard as you can, then like you're worth nothing. So like we kind of all have that mindset. I'm like talking so much. Anyways, I think like that it was kind of like when we signed to Hopeless and stuff, like that was really awesome, and it was just kind of like okay, now these are like more tools that we have to like do even more stuff, and like we've been on the road like all year, and we don't really plan on stopping. And I think it's just like we're always just like okay, now that we have like this thing covered, like now that somebody is releasing our stuff for us, like what else can we do? Like, like what can we do to make this like really sick? What can we do to like reach people? What can we do to like, I don't know, be a part of our community in Baltimore, like fundraise, like things like that.
I would say overall it was definitely just not like a mind shift, but more just so before, I mean, I know this is like a Street is Myron's first band, but when I was playing in bands before, I never had the mentality of like, oh, I'm going to make it big, I'm going to do this. It was just like, this is what I'm going to do on the side, This is like, going to go to college, we're going to get our jobs and stuff, and just kind of putting music as a career, or like learning what music is a career, something that we're still learning, and something that Hopeless is like helping us navigate, just because it's like a completely new industry. Like, all of us are new to it. We've only been doing it for like a couple years, which is a year or two max. And
we got signed last year.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, also, from like 2020 to like 2021, just because nothing was happening, everything was just like, it was a lot of us just being at home and just like practicing for like whenever the next show was gonna be, which we didn't know when like it was gonna be, because like,
whenever the
yeah. So nothing was happening. And then we like, it was like a big jump because then we like had a show, right? That was like actually like an actual venue. And then after that, we were like, we're booked for Sad Summer Fest, like the week after. And I don't know, like that kind of jump was just kind of, we were just kind of like thrown into it pretty much. And ever since then, it's been like, all right, this is like what you're doing. And then we like also play like basement shows too. But we never had like I feel like getting used to like basement shows and like really like small venues and like really small shows, just because like there were no shows going on. We were
playing small shows to nobody.
Yeah.
In bars.
Yeah, in like 2019 fall, which was fun. It was fun, and it was like very much a thing that we're just doing while we were just like in college, you know. And then like 2 years later, we were playing Sad Summer Fest, and then getting yelled at for not knowing how to sound check, and we're like, all right.
Going like 40 seconds over. Like, we got chewed out because like the first night. Yeah, we went 40 seconds over, and then they had to cancel the rest of the day anyways because it started raining. And it was just like we got chewed. Like somebody came to our green room and like chewed us out. We're like, oh my god, we just played our first show like to people like last week.
Did they let you finish?
Yeah, they didn't cut us off. They didn't cut off our sound.
And they didn't charge you guys like an extra fee or anything. Sometimes like
oh my god, no.
It's insane. Like, well, it depends. Like if it's like the end of like the night, like if it's your like past 10 o'clock, like sometimes you get like charged and it's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think it's like for venues they do that because it's like then they have to hire people for longer. Maybe. I don't know.
It's an expensive 40 seconds.
Yeah, apparently.
In terms of your songwriting mindset, I know that relatively recently you've been testing out material sort of on stage, that sort of organically bringing songs together. That's got to be really fun to have these come to life sort of on the fly.
Yeah, I think like we started doing that like with our first headline tour. It's easier to do it on headline tours because it's just like we just have so much time. We were doing that with our first headline tour with To Me, which just came out like a couple months ago. And it's really fun. Like we just started doing that with a couple more songs that were like kind of in the works. It's like also just like when you're playing so many shows and you're playing the same songs over and over again, I feel like the jam, like the new song is kind of like the time when we get to like experiment and just like actually jam with each other. Half the time we actually don't have the opportunity to practice or like actually be in a practice space and like figure out our songs. So we're like, okay, cool, like everything's plugged in, all the sound is perfect. This is just, we can hear ourselves. Like, this is a great place to just like figure out what we like.
It's also part of the writing process, I feel like, because we're like on the road so much, it's difficult to actually like piece together like songs like this, and it's just a great opportunity to actually play it live and have like a tentative idea of how the song's supposed to go, and then try different things out like night to night. And again, to like our headlining crowd, you know, there's not like a lot of pressure. Like I don't feel like judgment or anything from like, you know, our fans or anything. It's just we're able to share these ideas with these people and see what works and see what doesn't work, like, you know, after the facts, like if we like record the set or something like that. So I don't know, that's how we get to like a final product with these songs that we're like playing live to like all these kids.
And it's really fun because it's like we develop them in the context of like sharing them with people, so it feels less like jarring, I guess, like when it's like released. Like there are some songs obviously that like they are very like much kept close to our hearts until they're out into the world, but with some songs it's just like these are like meant to be shared, and it's really fun to just like, I don't know, like you said, like be organic with it, be genuine, and just be like, yeah, this is like what we're thinking about, this is like what we want to play. I believe that like music really only exists in the moment, and a recording is just a recording. And a recording, it, obviously you put a lot of work and a lot of money and a lot of effort into it, and that's what people listen to, but it's like music is really like how you feel like in a certain time. So it feels good to be able to like play stuff that feels more true to us at the moment too, which is like new stuff that we're writing.
So for fans looking out for the band, sort of in the months ahead, you know, being out on staying out on the road, doing recordings, or what should people look out for?
We're gonna keep touring and writing and releasing stuff. So if you want to follow us, you'll figure it out. But
our thanks to Ashrita, Myron, and Paul. They are Pinkshift. Look out for more music down the road soon. And if they're playing in your town, definitely not a show to be missed. As always, find more at riffmagazine.com. For Riff Radio, I'm Mike DeWald.